Hi YouTube, this is a quick or simple DIY snowman for your door or decor to hang in your home. I saw this in the store, I thought it was really cute, so I tried to dupe it. So I went to the Dollar Tree, picked up a floral pick here for the holidays. Also picked up a snowman stocking. I plan to use the hat for the snowman. I'm going to cut him out, cut out the hat, and the original plan was to also use the scarf for the snowman. So we're going to get started. I'm going to cut that out to use for the wreath. Also picked up these two bamboo wreaths. One is 12-inch and I believe the other is 14-inch. So there we have it. We're going to get started. So first I'm kind of laying out my two wreaths to see how I'm going to position everything, and I'm sorry I didn't shoot the footage of cutting out the snowman hat, but it was pretty, self-explanatory. So I just cut out the hat and then cut off the scarf off the front. So here I am just putting in the floral pics to see how to arrange them, if I'm going to use the scarf, I'm not going to use the scarf. So that's what I'm doing at this particular point in the video. Okay, so to get started with my snowman, I'm going to take the hat, and I need some reinforcement on the back, so I'm going to use the insert from the stocking just to cut out, it's like little paper cardboard, so I'm going to use that as the backing for the hat, but first I need to trim off some of the white so that it doesn't show from the front of the hat. So that is what I'm doing here. Then I'm going to cut out the paper to put on the back. I'm going to just hot glue it to the back just so that it'll have something to support the hat, keep it standing, and also to glue it to the wreath. Okay, so I also need to glue the top of the hat together. It was actually the top of the stocking. So I'm just going to take a bead of hot glue and just glue the top of the hat together at the top. I also didn't like the way the trim was sticking out on the side, so I'm going to end up trimming some of that off and then just re-gluing it on the side. But first, here is just the glue, just to glue the top of the hat together. Again, this was the top of the stocking, so I'm just going to glue it together, and then I'm going to go back and trim the side because some of the white was showing on the side. So just to kind of tuck it in a bit, I'm going to just kind of cut it open, and then I'm going to kind of fold it back and then glue it together. Okay, so there we have the hat for our snowman. Next, we're going to move on to attaching it to the head portion of our snowman wreath. So I just took a marker and just kind of marked around where I needed to line my glue up so it'll stick to the head. So there I am gluing right along my line, and I'm just going to stick that on the top part of the wreath that will be the head. And then I'm going to just reinforce with a little more glue as I press it down, just to kind of get in between the bamboo of the wreath, so it'll stick to that paper just a little bit better. So here we have the top part of our snowman. The hat turned out really nice, better than I expected it to. So we're done with the top portion, and then we're going to move on to securing the body of the snowman to the head of the snowman. So I'm just kind of going to position where I want the head and the body to meet. I have some jute twine that I picked up, I believe, from Walmart a while back. So I've had this in my supply for a while. So I'm going to apply a generous portion of hot glue to the top part of the wreath, or the head of the snowman, and then I'm going to put that together, just kind of press it together with the body of the snowman. So I hold it there for a few seconds, and what I want to do is actually use a clamp to kind of push the glue into the wreaths together, to kind of secure them and, you know, give them a chance to set up, and kind of squeeze them, you know, a little harder than I can. And I'm also going to go back through with my glue, and while it's pressed together with a clamp, I'm going to just kind of put some glue in between the wreaths to kind of give it some more security. So while the glue is setting up with the clamp, I'm going to just pull off some twine here. I didn't measure it. I just, you know, just kind of pulled off enough to wrap around the two wreaths to secure them. So the glue is pretty much hard here. So I'm just going to go in and just wrap my twine. I'm going to tie it once on the one end, and then I'm just going to wrap it around a few times till I get to the other end, and then just tie it together, just to kind of give it a little extra security, to make sure that the two pieces stay together. So that's what I'm doing in this part of the video. So when I get to the end, I think that's pretty much enough going around. So I'm just going to tie those two pieces, the one I started with and then one I'm ending with. I'm just going to cut off excess and then just tie it really tight here in a knot. And I'm also going to go in and I'm going to add some hot glue. Let me cut up the excess. I'm going to add some hot glue here to give it a little more security as well. So just kind of go around and under where the twine meets the wreath, and just kind of squeeze some glue in there. So now we're going to move on to our Floral Pics. I deconstructed them a little bit earlier before I actually put them on the wreath to see how everything was going to look. So I'm just kind of laying it out, and I'm actually using the wire in the pics to kind of wrap it around as I am laying it out, just to keep it in place, because I like the way it looked when I laid it down. I didn't want it to mess up, and I didn't trust the hot glue to keep it in place right then. So I'm just going to wrap it around with the wire that's in the Floral Pics already. So that's what I'm doing in this step. As you can see, I'm just kind of laying out everything and just seeing how everything looks. and then just wrapping as I go. So after I completed arranging the floral picks, it was time to figure out how to secure them to the snowman. So just kind of looking at it and deciding whether just to use hot glue or whether to tie something else on it. So I'm going to pull out the scarf that I cut off of the stocking from when we first began the video, where we got the Snowman hat, but I didn't like the way that looked. So I'm going to pull out some red ribbon that I have from another project. It's just some plain red ribbon. I'm just going to kind of play with that and just tie it around just to see how I liked it. I tried to use it as a scarf, give it like a scarf effect, but I didn't like the way that looked either. So I'm just going to kind of play around with it till I get a nice bow. And you'll see that here. I'm just going to kind of mess around with it a little bit. So as I was making my arrangements and figuring it out, my son wants to come in and kind of put the other bow back on it and ask why I wasn't using it. And I was just telling him, hey, I didn't like the way that one looked, but I'm going to arrange a bow very nice here. So you saw another hand come in there. That was my son coming in to help mom. Okay, so after thinking about it for a minute, I decided to use some hot glue. So I applied a good little amount here at the center of my floral arrangement for my snowman. And then I'm also going to secure it with the ribbon that I'm using. So I decided not to use it in the scarf fashion. Oh, and I also added another leaf that I found from the floral pick. It fell off of the table I was using. So I'm just going to secure it with the glue and then just tie this ribbon around it and then just fluff the ribbon out to my liking in a nice bow. So I'm going to tie that in a knot and then just make a nice bow and just finish it up from here. Okay, so in continuing to fluff out my bow, I didn't want it to lay flat, so I just kind of made like a little hump or a little bump in the ribbon and just glued a little dot on both sides before I finished out my bow. And also I'm going to show where I made a hook, so to speak, I threaded the twine in the back of the bamboo, the twine that was holding the bamboo together, and you'll see that in just a second, to where you can hang it on a hook or hang it on the door. So I just threaded that through, made a knot, and then threaded my jute twine through, and there is my finished product. I really hope you like it. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. I have some other projects that I'm thinking about doing. So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks so much for watching.